Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
We get invited here tonight. Mr. Myers, thank you for letting me in your Phillips to the Falls loft.
Yes.
I've been a long critic of this stretch of road that I never thought nothing was going to happen. And look at here. We're here sitting on your couch in a very nice...
We should introduce ourselves.
Yeah, introduce her. This is Mike Myers, Scott Erisman, Bruce Danielson, the cameraman.
Cameraman Bruce here.
And we're going to be talking tonight about a lot of stuff. We'll keep it quick though, because we all have things to do, right?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. And Mike is going to be talking about his health initiatives and stuff. But I got a quick question. I warned you before the camera went rolling. I go to Democratic Forum every once in a while, and I've noticed that a couple of times your very special guest with you has been Dr. Annette Bosworth.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? I know nothing. I'm asking you the question.
I'll be with Dr. Bosworth tomorrow night.
Okay.
At which time she's going to pay off her bet.
Yeah, for bet.
A bet, which is a bottle of wine.
Oh, bet,
Because
not
she-
debt.
Bet.
Because she bet that, I believe it was Judge Hoffman,
Yep.
would not grant a stay of the lifting of her license
Okay.
by the medical board.
But he did.
And I had this glimmer of, I thought, she has been consistently and defiantly just had the daylight beat out of her by both the medical and legal systems.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, there might be a glimmer of integrity left. So I bet that he would grant it.
Mm-hmm.
She bet that he wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back here to the law.
And he did.
And the phone rang and she said, What? I owe you a bottle of wine. And
Hoffman
I'll be more than happy to pay off my bet, and that's what she'll be doing tomorrow night.
So Hoffman granted her the...
Stay until the end of October.
Here's my opinion about Dr. Bosworth.
Yes.
And you can rebuttal if you want to. A lot of people came to me and said, do you think what happened to her was fair? And I had a very good friend of mine who's a political consultant say to me, all the campaigns do this. They have people signing things and they're not signing them. It happens, Scott. And I said, yeah, I know. And he said, the difference is where Annette messed up was she was obviously out of the country on Facebook, so she got caught. And I said, I understand that. And, a bunch of other people said, well, she shouldn't have lost her medical license. So this is where I differ from a lot of people's opinion on this. This wasn't her first rodeo. She'd been in front of the examiner's board before for other things. Medicare billing and stuff like that. So I told everybody, I said, whether I agree or disagree with what happened to her, it was one of those things where the straw that broke the camel's back. And the examiner's board probably looked at this and said, you know what? And I know you're going to defend her, and I would defend her too, but I'll say, they said, you know what? We're done dealing with this girl. We're done dealing with her because she's been here before. She's pulled this before. But before you respond to that, I wrote a parody about this, and I took it down after about a day, about how, not defending Annette, but saying, how is it that Annette loses her medical license for signatures, and Bill Janklow never loses his law license or his driver's license for killing someone when running a stop sign? And I wrote a satire piece about it, which I took down. I might bring it back. But I I will defend Annette on that case. That why is it okay for Bill Janko to run stop signs and kill people and get his law and driver's license back, but it's not okay for Annette Bosworth to commit perjury on signatures and then get her medical license taken away? You tell me. How do you defend her?
Because we are the second most corrupt state in the United
I
States.
thought we were number one, actually, but who's beating us?
It's always a fight between Alabama and us.
I said that if I get to be governor, we ought not to be number 2. If we can't beat Georgia out as being the most corrupt. And so basically this is a state of incredibly incestuous, focused power. There's about 9 persons who control most of the activity that goes on. And so she is a naive, and she began to behave in a way that offended the boys,
Yes.
a couple of girls.
Yes.
And she began to, she'd run pretty high, attractive, articulate, the patients love her, she gets a lot of free care, she's riding high, and she's out there beginning to refer outside of the good old Sanford Orthopedic and other club. Remember, they love each other. If I were to make
Right.
referrals to you two, you'd care a lot more about me than if I were to begin to refer to, a cameraman outside of our system.
Attorneys work the same way, and you know this.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So at some point, a couple of key individuals were offended by all this. And then she was so naive as to say, in the same way that, delving into politics, and at some point they said, we need her license. Let's take her license. We gotta find a way to do that. Now, and in terms of the medical billing thing, Sanford, Avera, they come in and extract that stuff routinely. So she engaged in the same jaywalking activity that Johnny Thune engaged in,
Yes.
reportedly in the street.
Exactly
Johnny
what my
Thune did
Republican people said to me.
Johnny Thune
Yep.
did the same darn thing.
Yep.
And we know it, and Steve Hickey.
Yep.
People coming in and saying, oh, by the way, we turned him in and he wasn't there. And of course, Steve Baby says, well, to the best of my knowledge, I was there.
Browns, Dugard, I could go to the list
And
and
then he
go on
goes
and
off
on.
then he gets called off to Scotland outside of the jurisdiction of Marty. So what we have is,
Yep.
we have a system that when they say we want that individual, they are able to do that. And we know that the Secretary of State and Attorney General is basically a trick and trap system. And they are able to go to someone like Marty. And Marty, I like Marty, I've been jogging with him, younger, he's in good shape. But if you're part of the system, and at some point they say, now we're weary of all that, and isn't it time? How naive she was when she went down to be examined, and they come up with the conclusion that she's, oh my goodness, she's narcissistic. So in any event, they came in and they wanted her license. They had to find a way to do that. She didn't need the signatures. She's a high roller. She's coming in there. She's got her lawyer sitting right next to her. Paid him $20,000 to make sure that she's conformed. And he goes, she signed. Did the people actually sign those petitions? Yes. And he's kind of sitting there, and suddenly they're looking for a way, and they come up and.
I would interrupt you for a
That's what
second.
happened,
I'm not gonna defend Joel Aarons.
Why not?
I said I'm not going to
Yes.
defend him. But I'm gonna say the one thing where Annette probably screwed up was trying to base her whole defense on the fact that Joel told her something wrong. And I'm sorry. When you're, let me put it to you in context. Let me put this in some form that you can understand. When you're a child and you tell your child, 8-year-old daughter, don't ride your bicycle on the street, and she rides her bicycle on the street, you go, well, she's a kid, she don't listen to me. when you tell Annette Bosworth that you need to have someone look at these signatures and stuff, she's not an 8-year-old child riding her tricycle in the street. She is a doctor with a medical license. She's intelligent. I think she's intelligent. I don't think she's dumb. And to blame Joel, and don't get me wrong, I don't think he's completely innocent. But to blame Joel for everything, because she does that a lot when she's in the news, and maybe I'm getting the news clips wrong. But Joel is not the only one that's at fault here for doing what happened to Annette. There's a lot of other people advising Annette Bosworth that shouldn't have been advising her. They weren't advising her correctly. And it wasn't just Joel. And like I said, I'm not saying he's innocent either. But it's not the fact, I mean, I wish Annette would stop using this excuse, well, my attorney told me to do this. Well, come on, Annette. You're a medical doctor. You know, you should know a little bit better to go, wait a minute here, this don't look right. But you're also right that every campaign pulls this crap. Steve Hickey, John Thune, Mike Rounds, we could go on and on and on and on and on and on about how all this crap goes down.
Right.
But like I said, I will agree with you. Taking her medical license away is no more justifiable than taking away Bill Janko's driver's and law license. He murdered somebody by breaking the law, and we gave him his driver's license back, and we gave him his law license back. And that made no sense at all to me, whatever. Now, revoking Annette's medical license for maybe a year, that would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But taking it away permanently doesn't make any sense to me.
There's an ethical oath thing that's involved with this, just like with an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that there's an ethics side of this thing that needs to be dealt with, and you know, Janko.
Well, let's talk ethics, Marty Jackley. Let's talk it.
You talked about the ethics side.
Yeah.
I was at that hearing, that last hearing, and we have the AMA Book of Ethics there, and we have the legal counsel, and I know a lot of those lawyers, and I know the doctors. I said, objection from the floor. No. What do you mean, no? Objection from the floor, there's a conflict of interest by at least 6 of the 9 people sitting up there that are going to agree on this motion.
Right.
Why? Well, because you have a conflict of interest, because you're part of the system, and I would urge the journalist here to ask each of these individuals what their relationship is to the two systems and how much money they've received over the last 5 years, they or members of their family.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
And
Because
so they all sit there, they're all part of this incredible system. Of course, I'm there. Dr. Awning's there in defense of Dr. Bosworth, Dean Telley. And we're sitting there looking out there and, but when they really want to get you, remember the old trick and trap notion. And so they began to look at what can we do? Oh my goodness, they came in and found some Medicaid problems. They find Medicaid improprieties routinely at both systems. And oh my goodness, what else? Oh, she signed those, and we know that was the equivalent of a, but they were out to get Annette, and she's naive. And I hope that she's
the one thing you pointed out about Annette, and Annette aside, and trust me, I get a lot of people come at me like, Annette this, Annette that, Annette it. I'm like, there's another reason why they were after Annette. And it had nothing to do with her being Annette Bosworth. It had nothing to do with her being married to Chad Avery.
Oh, yes.
Because we could go on and on about that. It had to do with Annette being a private practitioner.
Okay.
And that's what you're talking about right now. She wasn't part of the system.
She was part of the Sanford system. She was for a while, and she left.
Yep.
And they had,
and then they have their problem with that.
We want to know how many referrals you made,
Right.
and she ignored that. We
Yeah,
wanna make sure
and then they come after
refer to
you.
the club. Exactly.
It's the same way with the lawyers in this town. I've heard this. If you you don't
Yes.
play the city's games, then you don't get cases. You get blackballed. There's things that happen to you, and of course we can't prove this on camera right now. Come on, Soda Pop, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on.